Hey guys, so tonight we're in front of a MacBook Air 2024, but it's a 15 inch and it needs a screen replaced. So let's get to it. All right, everybody. Well, we're going to do things a little differently here this evening. I've got a camera on the desk here, kind of overlooking the repair process that I'm going to be going through for this. And I've got the podcast mic right in front of my face. So we'll see how well this works, if I can actually handle it. If I can't, well, then this probably won't be posted. But for the time being, I'm going to try this. And we're going to get this MacBook screen replaced tonight. So we're going to start out. This is a Starlight version of the 2024, I think it is, MacBook Air. And this is the 14, or this is actually the 15-inch version. So hoping that you guys can stick with me here through this. Bear with me as I look at a new one. I think it's going to be the same process kind of as the other MacBook Airs that I've worked on so far this year. It doesn't seem like it's going to be overly complicated. We're using the P5s, and I've really quite a bit recently done several of these just in the 13-inch model. So the 15-inch model could vary slightly. I'm kind of anticipating that that's going to be the case. Hoping that it's not too different, but I quoted labor the same as I quote for the 13 inches, so that's why I want it to be the same. But we shall see. Not really sure what I'm getting into by doing this, and I've got it backwards currently, so we're going to slide and flip that around. And those of you who are cringing right now because I just slid that on my wood desk and there's probably crumbs and stuff on my desk, well, you're not wrong, but the screen's broken and the whole top assembly is what I slid it on, so should be okay. Alright, so we're going to take the suction cup, we're going to pull real nice and hard, break this loose. We're going to try and pop the tabs up front by running my fingernail. Not just fingernails, but my fingers underneath here. And once you reach a certain point, like this, you gotta pull. Because Apple, in their infinite wisdom, likes to make things a little more difficult than they need to be. So, bottom cover's off. The first step that you take after you pull off the bottom cover is you pull the battery. That's always got to be your first step. And again, Apple, in their infinite wisdom, putting black stickers on things that don't need black stickers on them, just so that you cannot find them. Alright, first thing I put on there was a P5. Next one I'm going to put on is going to be a T4. And that's pretty common. T4 should get me through most of this repair, actually. So, we'll unscrew the battery here first. Or at least the cover for the battery. I did grab T4, right? No, I grabbed T5. There we go. There's T4. Not really a need for T5 at this junction. So we pull the two screws for the cover on the battery. And then there's a teeny little cover on the battery that pops off. All the same, just like that. And then there's a little grabby piece right here. I like to slide the screwdriver under. It gives me a little bit of grip on it. And then use what tiny bit of grip they give you with your beast fingers and pull the battery up. Alright, so from that point, now you're free to actually start disassembling everything. So I like to go for the covers. On the MacBook, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm used to a fifth cover being over here for the sensor, so that's what's going to be different about this. It actually looks like maybe the speaker / Wi-Fi antenna goes all the way to that corner, so that'll be a different experience this time. So anyway, I'll start by just removing these covers here. This should be for one of the speakers. And one thing that's really nice about the LTT screwdriver, precision screwdriver kit, is they've got these little compartments in it. So everything I remove, I can keep the screws together with it. Sorry about that, guys. Like I said, I'm trying this with the podcast mic just because it's a little easier, and then I don't have to have a bunch of crap set up or clipped to me, and you guys get consistent audio the whole time. Hopefully not too much background noise, but you never know. Currently it is 11:49. Tried to tell my wife I was going to be in bed by midnight. I think she's going to catch me in a lie again. I don't think that's going to happen. But I gotta get this done. I had 3 machines I was supposed to get done today, and I got 2 of them done. This is the last one. I'm still doing my full-time gig until the 12th, so that's why I'm actually behind right now. Because I had to actually work today. Man alive, people's computers are something else, I'll tell you. Had a motherboard failure today. I had a laptop where data needed to be transferred from the old laptop to a new SSD, and then they wanted data transferred from the old SSD to a new laptop, and specific things to stay on the new laptop. Is a whole thing. But the customer's going to be very happy, so that's what matters. And then had a last minute build request today, so got that taken care of too. I didn't get a build done today, but I got it kind of the list put together, got the parts ordered, walked the customer through that because he's an older gentleman who's just looking for a computer to be built that's going to be solid. So, and what I'm doing right now is I'm taking out the big speaker, or not the big speakers, but the big screws that hold in the speakers / Wi-Fi antenna. The speaker and Wi-Fi antenna are kind of one thing, and so there's 4 pretty big screws that hold it all in, and then on each end there should be another larger screw, which is right here. I don't know if I need to pull that one, just because this is different altogether, so I'm trying to determine what actually needs to come out. Okay. Seems like if I tug here, the whole center assembly here pops out, which is definitely different than what I'm used to. Is that just a cover? Okay. So again, guys, first time doing one of these, so I'm trying to be careful. I could look up a guide on it just to see how things are actually done. I'm not in the mood to look up a guide, so it's going to be a learn as I go type of experience. Just one of those experiences that you got to have, and hope that you do okay. And all you got to do is just be a little extra careful with things, you know. Just don't tug and yank, and you should be okay. Alright, so that... Well, that's a whole deal there, isn't it? Is this a whole cover? Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so there is a larger Torx bit that needs to be used for that. So I'm going to take a look at what we need for that. It's looking like that's going to be a 7, Torx 7, which is an unusual measurement. Not one I have seen in use in these MacBooks in the past, but whatever. My goal here is to do things by the book, don't strip things out, and take it nice and slow. Alright, well that did not work. Try and do a little investigation here. What am I missing? I'm going to switch back to T4. We're going to remove these hinge covers. We'll see if that makes a difference. Pull that T7 screw back off of there. The hinge covers are also a T4 screw, as you'd probably expect. And I'm going to set the hinge cover screws on the actual desk here. Can't say these are my favorite, but oh my word. Okay, I found the secret hidden screw. So there's a secret hidden screw under the hinge cover, which is why that would not come out. And now once I have that removed, voila, that speaker comes right out. And this half of the Wi-Fi cover seems to want to come out. So we'll follow suit on the other side here with a T4. See, as long as you pursue things logically and you tear down with a reasonable amount of respect, there's usually not much of a problem. Apple devices definitely pose a challenge to a lot of repair guys. I don't mind them as long as I just stick to the screen replacements, because those generally are a little easier for me. Alright, so that's the left speaker, that's the right speaker. Set those there. And then in the middle here we've got the Wi-Fi antenna, which is a very unique design, I must say. Probably didn't need to pull this off, but I did anyway. I'm gonna guess that that part is still attached on the original screen, so I'll probably end up with 2 extra screws, but such is life, you know. It happens that way sometimes. But at least I've got a path forward here. So we got our screw there, our screw here, and this is what actually holds the display cables in place, the camera and display cables. Okay, those are out. There's 2 more screws that are hidden under this padded cover here. So just don't be afraid to pull it. Undo those. Put them with the others. Beautiful. Alright. And we can pull that cover off. And this is unique. This actually has 3 here. Got 1. And a 2, and that third one can just stay in place. Nice. Okay, so there's actually some cat hair down here. That's interesting. That's the place where I would expect to see it if I was going to see cat hair. That makes sense to me. And then we do have one more cable here that needs to be taken off. This is my least favorite cable, but it is one of those things that has to be, it's kind of a mandatory thing. This design seems a little better than the design on the 24 MacBook Airs that are 13 inches, because this actually has a designated route. But this is the cable that helps to how do I say this? It designates the path for the laptop, whether it's open or closed. So, oh, okay, I didn't actually have to undo that. There's a little connection right here, which differs from the MacBook Air, that MacBook Air 14 inches that I've worked on, that this clips into, so it actually makes it a little easier. So I didn't really realistically need to detach this, but I did anyway. So whatever, it's done. I'm going to test the TR7 and see if that will do this. It's probably not. The hinge screws are typically a TR9 or a Torx 9 connection. This is another unique build in that there are 4 hinge screws instead of just the typical 3. Holy Moses. They put thread locker on these hinge screws so that you wouldn't replace the screen. And it's making it a little tough to get it out of there. Okay. Keep on going. We almost got one side done here. And you're probably wondering why I'm not putting these back in the box here. I've pretty much filled all the little compartments, and honestly, at some point it gets easier just to start storing all the screws off to the side. Apple has so many screws that you have to take out, and they're varying sizes. A lot of people hate the repairability of these devices for that reason. But I charge more in labor for it because it's more of my time. It's a more difficult procedure. And there's a lot of delicate, fragile things in here that you have to be very mindful of. And you can't get impatient with it. But what you're going to see here momentarily is that we were successful. So we're going to lift this up here. And it's coming out of frame. But the screen is officially detached. Right, there's that old screen, and there's a crack in it somewhere. I don't see it right off the top of my head here, but it's there, I promise. So we're going to set the laptop back down. That's keyboard face down. We've got the detached screen here. We're just going to set that off to the side. And then we've got our new screen sitting over here. And just have to open up the box that it's in. Again, always getting these screens from 7Puppy. If you go on Amazon and you're looking for a really good quality vendor for Apple screens, I highly recommend 7Puppy. They are very good. Now, I order from Amazon because their shipping is a little faster that way. Outside of that, there's not much reason to order on Amazon. Bright Focal is my screen supplier for regular everyday laptop screens. So if you're curious about that, ordering from Bright Focal is good. Ordering from 7Puppy for Apple is great. Very, very few times have I ever had an issue with the 7Puppy screen, and when I have, it's been immediately fixed. And they've been so great about reaching back out to make sure that things are the way that they're supposed to be. So, kudos to 7Puppy for the great work. I never thought I'd find an Apple supplier, an Apple screen supplier that I like as much as them. And honestly, never thought that I'd be replacing this many Apple screens. But hardware issues plague everybody, so here we are. And here I am trying to keep my office clean. And I've got all this paper stuff that's fallen out of the bubble wrap that I don't really... I just super cleaned the office not that long ago. It's like, what is it, Thursday last week? Because Friday I had a photographer coming. It is now Monday, and my office has stayed clean to this point. But it's certainly not been without its share of challenges. Alright, so this is the new screen. You can see that everything appears to be in place. It's looking great. We've got our little cable there on the side, which is awesome. And then, so to start with this guy, we're going to pull the masking tape off these connectors. And then I like to pull the little black connection here as well. And then the hardest part is just about now. And that is reattaching the screen to, or attaching the new screen to the body of the laptop. And when I say it's the hardest part, I don't mean the actual physical putting it there together. But I don't want to break the new screen because they're very delicate. But the hinges are machined so tightly that if you want it to actually work the way it's supposed to, you have to kind of push the hinges while you let the actual laptop fall, so that you don't end up cracking the screen on the computer. At a certain point, it's okay to let it fall down, like I just did. But those hinges, like I said, they're machined really tight, so you just have to be extra cautious when you're doing that. And then, of course, like I said, I leave the thread lock screws sitting on the desk here because the first thing you want to do is simply reattach the... Oh no, see, I made a mistake. Can you guys guess what my mistake is? I didn't make sure the display cable came through. So guess what? I get to reattach this to the body of the computer. And that's probably my wife telling me that it's midnight. It is 12:04, and I thought it'd be done by now, but I am mid-repair, unfortunately. And don't worry, guys, none of that is due to you. It is all my doing. Not because I spent time setting this up. It took me 2 seconds to set up my camera. So. She likes to make sure I'm getting to bed at a reasonable time, which, when I start to work full-time for my business, there's not really going to be an excuse for me to be up doing this late. I need to be actually taking care of myself and actually getting to bed at a decent time. But right now, I'm not there yet. Okay, so here's the display cable. You can see that's pushed through now, so no worries. And so, like I said, we'll take these thread lock screws. They put some, I don't know why they put thread lock on these. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. You know, it's like, it's not like it's going to come loose. And if you expected it would come loose with your manufacturing, then you're doing something wrong. You're late, I know. What do you expect? Things take longer sometimes. It's already been 22 minutes. I started this later than I wanted to because I got hung up on trying to figure out what email a customer wanted. And I told him when he dropped off with me, I don't do people's personal account information. And he was just like, well, if you can just do this one for me, I'll be really happy. So I was trying to be nice and take care of that. But going above and beyond is what I like to do. But it's often at the sacrifice of my own. Okay, so go to sleep. Alright. Just doing everything in reverse order that I did it in before. Just have to make sure that all the cables go back in the way that they were in originally. Goodness gracious. These are the ones I hate. Like, this should line up a lot easier than it is, but it's not for some reason. There we go. Got that plugged back in. And then this guy here is the cover. He slides under there and sits on top. And then I have to switch my screw head back to a T4. This guy right here. Hang on, guys. Gotta take care of something real quick. Okay. Alright, so this little nub goes back on top. Meant to protect that. And then that goes there. That clicks in there. And basically there's two covers for this. Obviously we have our 4-screw cover here. So that slides right here. Okay, it's supposed to be a 4-screw cover. Not sure, I think I'm pretty sure I've got it lined up and I'm doing it right. I just don't know why I'm not seeing the... I have it backwards here. Yep, that'll be why. There's one orientation and one orientation alone for this. So that's actually kind of nice that they do that, so you make sure that you get things put back on properly. Though it doesn't seem like it should be that necessary to do. Okay, we got that piece on, so now the only piece that's really left for me to batten down is this one right here, but it's going to be a tough one because we have to fold that right there. And not really I'm really hoping that I don't have to worry about screwing this up. Okay, well, that's a hard one. Because there's a whole bunch of stuff here that I'm not sure. Like there's 2 screws, and I don't remember what I did with those 2 screws. I don't remember which part of this I put them in. Maybe they're these ones. Actually, they are those ones because they were black. Go. Grab it. Darn thing. There we go. Alright, that's screwed in successfully. That means that's in successfully. But before I do that, do I put speakers in? Pretty sure Wi-Fi antenna goes first. There we go. All good on that front. Then we can take our no, the speakers were supposed to go first. Ugh, that's annoying. It's not the end of the world, but it is annoying. No, speakers go on top. We're good. Okay. And we had that weird T7 screw that we just had to deal with for this side. So put that right back here. And then there's this one. The only part that runs underneath of the Wi-Fi antenna is the actual cable that plugs in for the speaker itself. Okay, that's back where it belongs, and then the weird T7 goes on this side right here. Come on, get in there, you darn thing. Okay, so we've got speakers plugged back in. You got whatever this that I unnecessarily unplugged, I guess. So my bad for unnecessarily unplugging that. We've got hinge covers that need to go back on, but there's the secret screw that was under those, so got to put those back in as well. And again, switch back to another driver here. Put the secret silver screw back in for the speaker over here. The secret silver speaker screw. Alright, got that in. We'll put our two T4 screws in right here. Go. We're getting there. We're almost done. Almost done reversing our process, which is awesome. I can't believe I just said that. Hopefully I didn't jinx anything. Because in my experience, if I say we're doing really good, something usually goes wrong. But I don't really want to be up later tonight, so I'm hoping this remains a positive experience. Okay. So, we've got a bunch of little covers here, but the first thing I'm going to put back in is these guys. These are our big screws that the bottom cover slides into. And where the speakers meet the Wi-Fi antenna, it can be a little finicky. So just make sure that you're not just starting to turn it when you put it in. Just make sure that it's going in properly before you start just driving it in, because you can do some damage if you strip it out. Nobody wants a stripped out hole, especially on an Apple machine. Nobody. Alright, let's see. What do we got here? So we've got this guy, which I think goes here. I would be wrong. Does it go here? Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. That's too short for that spot, too long for the other one. Again, nice that the holes are keyed. Silly that it's even an issue, though. Does it go here? Or is this the battery? This might be the battery cover thing. Yeah. Kind of looking like it. That's probably the one for the battery. Come to think of it. This one is... Yeah, there we go. That does work there. Beautiful. That is for the right speaker cable cover, flex cable cover. This one has to be for this left speaker flex cable cover, and it is. See, I just got the wrong one the first try. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. It's honestly not even that hard to put this puzzle back together. Oh my goodness. This is for a short nubby nub, which is right here. That one cable that I pulled that I didn't need to, because I don't think I had anything on it. But good practice all the same. Okay. This cover. This one's got to be the right one, right? No, that's the same stupid cover. Ugh. I already pulled because I'm stupid. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is the one. Come on, dude. Here we go. All right. Okay. Just move my hand out of there because it's unnecessarily just sitting there. Okay, so the next one is the battery. And I have to plug the battery back in. Like so. And we take the cover for the battery and we put that on, and last two screws here. Now, I wasn't given a charge cord for this, so it's hard to tell if I'm actually going to be able to turn this on after having pulled the battery without plugging it in first. So that part might need to come tomorrow to show you guys, because I definitely am going to go to bed as soon as I get this guy buttoned up here. I don't have any Mac chargers out at the moment, and I don't really want to go digging for them currently. So let's flip it with the bottom cover still open, because you never know if you're going to need to pull something, and try to turn it on and just see what happens. I feel like I just saw something blink. I could be wrong. I'm definitely wrong, because these Macs require power to power back up. Anyway, that's as far as I'm going to go for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow morning. I'll plug it in. We'll test it. And I know this is probably going to drive you guys crazy if you weren't actually just sitting here looking at me doing the repair. But not a huge deal. I'm done. I'm going to bed. It's 12:25. And I'm 25 minutes past when I told my wife I would actually be in bed. So thanks for watching for tonight. Tomorrow morning, I'll plug it in. We'll verify that everything is working properly. And wrap this up and put the video on YouTube. And talk to you later. Good morning again, beautiful people. It looks like we are good to go. I got the MacBook plugged in here. And if you look at this, you will see we have a working screen. So you can't see the whole thing, but that wasn't the point of this entire video. Let me flip the camera up a little bit so you can see. There you go. It is certainly not Thursday, April 1st at 12 o'clock, but that's just an issue from the battery. I'll resync the time and we'll be good to go. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and pull the plastic films off of everything and give my customer a call back. It's kind of refreshing when you have a repair like this, because the Mac really just looks like a brand new machine altogether when you have something like this. So when you got a brand new display, it's kind of really rewarding. I just like to pull gently, don't want to hurt anything here. And then of course I'm not going to be putting any pressure on the back or flipping this back over like I had it originally. I kept that back cover on it intentionally the entire time we were working on it last night. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. If you liked the content and you liked just chilling with me and you like it this style a little better, drop a comment, let me know, give me some feedback, because I really enjoyed making this video. It seems easier to talk into this mic and work on repairing this computer this way. So I know not everything I'll be able to do that with, but hey, it worked out this time. So again, thanks for watching. Hit like on this video if you enjoyed it, and of course subscribe, because there's more content like this out there that I've already created, and obviously more to come. So thanks for watching.